Hello. Hi, we are live. Let me know if you're here, if this is working, if my internet's working. It's always fun when I can actually talk with you all. So hopefully this is working. I see that it says we have some people on, but I'm not seeing anyone in the chat. Also, if you're not used to being live, there is a little near the, let me see, let me go on my phone. There is a live chat. There we go. Oh gosh, I was about to play back. Hi, cool. Maura, I see you. If you're joining live, please hop into the live chat so that we can hang out and talk. Jen, my girl, all around being super supportive. Yay. I'm gonna be honest, everybody. I've been kind of tired this last week. How has everyone else been? I've been talking to a lot of people who've been just feeling like, not necessarily bad, just like I wake up and I'm just like, I want to sleep more. Anyone else? Yeah, we have some other people feeling that as well. And it kind of goes with part of the theme of this live today, because I got a lot of questions asking what to do when I'm feeling off, how to get out of, a rut, how to feel, how to manifest when you're feeling a little off. And I mean, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. And that's exactly why I want to show up. I'm not necessarily my full energetic self, like my normal kind of level, but that is okay. And it's part of being human. And I feel like sometimes that's where I have resistance in filming videos. Like that's why I'm not always the most consistent at posting every single week at the same time, because I feel like I have this pressure to be all the way on at my full energy level, and I'm not always there. So you guys see me super hyped and like energized, and I'm naturally like that, but it's not a 100% all the time thing. And that's why I think it's important to show up saying, hey, I'm tired. I've been tired all freaking week, and that's okay. And it's not something that I need to force my way out of, and it's not something you guys need to force your way out of. I will read to you. It's pretty to do with kind of this topic. Okay, one person said, how to be positive while having trouble. Another one said, some days I don't feel like manifesting. Is that okay? Later I feel like I cheated and my desires won't come true. Another person said, what do you do when you have so-so moments to keep you motivated? For example, when it's been good for a while and you encounter a slight obstacle. So everyone's having the same thing of like the theme of, what do I do when I'm feeling a little off? Like, how do I get out of it? And I would first suggest that you don't force yourself to get out of it. I mentioned this a lot, but I think it's something that I need to reiterate many times, that when we put pressure on those off days and label them as bad, that amplifies this energy of, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. But what if it wasn't bad? What if it's just like, oh, this is part of the human experience. What does my body need? Does this need to be a thing that I'm putting all this pressure in? Like for me, like I said, this week, it hasn't been horrible. I've just been tired. And I could label this as, oh no, things are off. I'm not high vibrational. Everything's going to crumble. But instead I'm like, okay, I'm tired. Therefore, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to give my body rest. I'm going to allow myself to sleep in longer or take a nap. It doesn't always have to be this like, how do I get out of this because I need to be high vibe all the time? That is not true. And the people who are high vibe all the time are lying. They are putting on a front. They are not being real. And yeah, I think it's important to honor all pieces of your life. Now, that's not to say just to sit in a rut where you're constantly bashing yourself and being self-deprecating and having this mindset that is like not good for you. But you can feel like a little drained. You can feel kind of tired. You can feel off. You can feel anxious. You can feel sad. And you can still be there for yourself. And you can also get mad. Like, I was just having this talk with one of my very good friends, Carissa Johnson. She's one of my closest friends, but she's also my business coach. And we were talking about like our sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is your emotional center. And a lot of women, especially, and men, have blocked or just like non-activated sacral chakras because we're so used to holding our emotions in and not feeling like we can express anger. And if we're not expressing anger, and there's a difference between anger and aggression. Aggression is when you're like taking it out on another person, even if it's just verbally. But you're allowed to express that you're mad and that you're upset, because when you hold it in, it blocks that space. And that's also where creativity comes from. That's your creative center. That is your emotional center. That is like where you attract pleasure and abundance and the joys of life. So if you're not allowing yourself to express and experience the emotions, and you're just trying to shove it down because you think you have to be happy and high vibe all the time, you're actually blocking yourself from all the other things, from the creativity, from the pleasure in life, from all of it. So it's not about getting out of it. Like, accept all the levels of being human and take care of yourself, and just ask yourself in those moments, what do I need? So I hope that helps. I hope that brings clarity. No, you do be high all the time. Yeah, have gratitude and like look for beauty in life and continue to do that. But you know, sometimes you just need to chill and notice where your energy's at and take care of yourself from there. All right, are you guys still there? Yes. Okay, there's the chat. I'm going to try submitted, but then I will also take some from the chat as well. Yay, yay, yay. Yes, a lot of you have been feeling a bit off lately. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I have trouble letting go. It's hard for me. Yes, I believe that most humans have control issues. Like, we want to control things and fit things in a box of what we can logically comprehend. We want things to go a certain way, but sometimes for the things to actually work out in our favor, it's not going to go the way that we boxed it in, the understanding of how it should go. Yay, thank you all. Also, anywhere yet, anywhere, but I have decided that 5 people this month, 5 people who want to book just individual 60-minute coaching calls, like 60-minute individual coaching calls, will also have a month free access to the Master Manifestor membership. And if you're not familiar with what that is, my membership has been open for a month, and that includes group coaching, live meditations every week. We have live Q&As. All of my members get free access to all of my virtual events. So we have a manifest with the new moon ceremony coming up on the 11th. All my members get access to that. You can also get individual tickets, but just putting it out there that if you would like to test out the membership for a month, 5 people this month for May who book 60-minute sessions will get a month access to the membership. So just adding that in there. I linked stuff down below, like the link to all that. I've been feeling so happy, but at the same time, I need to find time to have some quiet time to myself. Yes, that's where I've been. I'm like, I just need quiet time. The next few days is going to be around anxiety and how, like, my top 3 ways to overcome that. And one piece of that video that I'll be talking about is the fact that we're so constantly overstimulated all the time. We don't give ourselves a break to sit and be quiet with ourselves. Even a lot of those who are involved in personal development is like, okay, I have a little bit of time. What can I read? What podcast can I listen to? What course can I take? Like, what documentary can I watch? And it's like, you're constantly filling your mind with things, or on your phone overstimulated, that you don't give yourself a time just to be with yourself. And that's so important. You saw me at the event with Master Sri Akarshana. Thank you. It's super fun. He is a great human. He always is so kind and offers such great opportunities for me. So I'm really grateful for him. Can we work on our I mean, you can do both at the same time, but start out with working on health and your emotional health. That is the groundwork. That is the basis for it. It's not just, again, forcing your way to a high vibe state and hyper focusing on all the things that you want to manifest. It's really, more than anything, a self-healing journey. That's how you become really good at manifestation, when you learn your triggers and and how to navigate life through that, where you're not just acting off of impulse and off of your emotion all the time and projecting everything everywhere, and really taking accountability for where you're at. So 100% should. Okay. Next question was this is kind of a similar situation. How to keep a positive mindset when things don't go the way you want for a long time, but we still want good results at the end of it. So how to keep a positive mindset when things don't go the way that you want, but you still want good results at the end of it. Again, you don't have to keep a positive mindset all the time, but start finding gratitude where you're at now. I think that's where the disappointment comes, because you're like, the thing that I want is not happening, but are you having any sort of gratitude for anything in your life right now? And some people might look at their life right now and be like, but everything sucks. There are things in your life that you can have a little bit of gratitude over. Can you have gratitude that you have some sort of electronic device to ask me this question? If you have this electronic device, you probably have some form of shelter. Even if it's not something that you have, like, can you see beauty in the world? Where can you find gratitude right now? Because if you're just looking at your current circumstance and going, everything sucks, everything sucks, everything sucks, everything sucks, then everything is going to continue to suck, because that's all you're looking at. So again, you can feel off, but you can also still find gratitude and find pieces of beauty in life. It's a balancing act, really. Okay, next question. Can you please talk about manifesting an apartment? I talk about that all the time. I can't find one in my city, and I tried visualizing one, but I still didn't receive any response from the universe or a sign. I asked to see a ladybug. It's been 3 months already. I visualize once a week. Okay, first of all, does it have to be in your city? Does it have to be in your city? Can you broaden your location and maybe get interested in other places? And also, it sounds like there's a lot of like, I'm visualizing, I'm asking for signs, the apartment still hasn't come. What are you doing? They're like, it's called the law of attraction. And right in that last word, attraction, is the word action. And yes, I do believe manifestation is a lot of energy work and where you're focusing, but there is a piece of that masculine. So that doesn't mean, by the way, masculine, feminine does not mean male, female. It means like feminine is a receiving energy, masculine is a doing energy. So it's really about having balance in both. So like the feminine energy, you're doing the visualization, you're, asking for signs and whatnot. That is great, so that you're in that receiving mode, but also like, what energy are you putting out to really keep that circulating? Are you going and looking online? Are you going looking in person? Are you, I don't even know. Are you just sitting there waiting for it to fall in your lap? And here's one thing that I interestingly find a lot of people doing. They think with manifestation, it's like the thing is just supposed to fall in your lap. I'm asking for abundance, so that just means money. I'm just gonna find a bag of money and be rich all of a sudden. No, some people, like my friend Lindsay Atkinson, she actually won a year living in a luxury apartment, and that can happen. But if you wanna move to a beautiful place, like, are you manifesting the money to support that? Are you following your dreams and your passions? Like, it's not just the one thing and waiting for it to like land right in your lap. Like, what are you doing for it? So that's my question around the vision board, but I can't hang it because parents think that manifesting is sorcery, very religious. Do you have an alternative? I mean, you can absolutely make digital vision boards, but I think this right here, and like I'm speaking from my own, like this is something that I deal with too. Like my mom is very religious and does not get this stuff, and sometimes it's just like, I'm so happy that I live away and she doesn't see every moment of my everyday life. But there is a level of, if you're living with your parents, like not feeling that you have to fully suppress yourself at all times, because that's going to weigh on you. And the thing is, with manifestation, the law of attraction, you can frame it in different ways that they understand. You can frame it from just a pure mindset perspective and say, Mom, Dad, I'm making this board of all of my goals and aspirations just because I'm passionate, and it's a tool. It's not even just a manifestation tool. A lot of people who are just logically minded and aren't into like manifestation stuff, they make these dream vision boards too, just because it's like, these are my goals, I'm claiming them. So you can frame it in that perspective when you bring it to your parents. Like, my parents came over here and I was like, this is my goal board. This is my goal board. And my dad's like, oh, okay, cool. He understood that. So using words and things that they can understand. And if they are religious, same with my parents. I mentioned this in the last slide, but there are plenty of things in the Bible that back this up. Like, God says that in the Bible that we are created in his image, and he manifests things instantly with just a singular word. So if we're created in his image, wouldn't it make sense that we can do something similar but on a smaller scale? Like, if he can just say a word and boom, it's there, manifest physically. Like, wouldn't it make sense that we can set our intentions on something and that after a little bit of time it can happen? So finding similarities in ways that they can understand. And I believe that manifestation within any religious or spiritual context can fit in if you just can see the links and help bridge that gap. So, yeah. Even like my mentor, Riley. So a lot of you guys know that that I've been doing mediumship. Maybe you know, but I've been doing mediumship training with my mentor, Riley. We had our last call last week. And Riley, even though she is a full-on medium and she gives readings, and a lot of people in the church view that as bad, Riley is like all about God and Jesus and all of that. She doesn't necessarily follow the Christian religion, but she's been talking a lot about like having a relationship with Jesus and whatnot. So it's like, if Riley can be a medium and a lot of people within religion can look down on her, yet she still is like, no, but there are things like, there are things that religious people believe, but they've boxed in, but Riley believes and feels the same way. So there are a lot of ways to bridge the gaps in different situations. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, next. So yeah, one more time. Vision boards, manifestation can totally relate to people from just a mindset like, these are my goals, I'm just focused on the prize, and, or you can view it from a perspective in whatever way you feel comfortable with, and whatever way another person feels comfortable with, you can bridge that gap to make it understandable for them. Someone said, I made a vision board and I wrote a deadline, but I'm still waiting after the time is over. How can we achieve it? Everyone has a different perspective on this, but I say drop giving yourself deadlines. Drop like this whole like, well, if it doesn't happen within this time, then I don't believe it. Or it's like, why are we putting these restrictions on things when things are happening in perfect timing, exactly the way that they're meant to happen? We, like I mentioned a little bit at the beginning, humans have this like control issue where they're like, it has to happen this way that I'm wanting it to happen in this time frame with these exact details. Like, loosen up the grip, loosen up the it has to be this way, because what if your box that you're putting it all in is boxing in something that could actually be even greater, but you're putting this pressure on it to look a certain way in a certain time frame, and it's actually holding you back from something even greater. So drop the time limits, drop them. That's our ego trying to control. And anytime we're like trying to control, I always go back to notice the energy in your body. When you're like, I need to control this, it has to be this way. Does that feel constrictive, Or does it feel expansive? Because if it feels constrictive, then that is actually the opposite. Manifestation, energy, it's all free flowing. So every time we're like controlling, that's the opposite energy we want to feel when we're proactively manifesting things. And that is self-created too. Because yeah, like I said, we can feel exhausted, we can feel stressed, we can just have off days. That's just part of our experience, and we need to recharge and be cognizant of those pieces. But sometimes we're creating the chaos by our need to control. You know, can you see the difference there? So, all right. Okay. I have a couple more questions, and then I will refer to the comment section. How to know if something is holding you back or if it's for my greater good. As in, I'm in university and I want to drop out. I don't know what's next, but somehow I have this itching feeling to quit school and focus on growth. Like that's exactly what I'm meant to do. And at the same time, I also want to finish school, have the certificate, and be called a professional at something. It's like, it's like a legal validation. I will answer you individually right now that it sounds like your intuition is telling you what you want, and your mind's coming in and saying, but I've been told that I need to get a degree because that is what will make me valuable in this world. Well, guess what? I don't have a degree. My whole life, I was so anti the system, not even in a like stick it to the man kind of way, but like, I just couldn't, like, I couldn't sit in school. I couldn't focus at a desk job. Like I tried to work at my dad's car dealership and they had me filing, and I tried, like I wasn't purposely trying to mess things up, but they would constantly find the wrong files in the wrong section. And it's just like I think my brain would just blank out because it's like, this is not what you're meant to be doing. This is not what you're meant to be doing. This is not useful for you. So I don't think everyone needs a degree. And again, like go back, is that what you want? Do you want to stick with it? Because it sounds like at the end you were saying, I feel like it's like this validation. Like I want to go to school and get this because it's this validation, but it sounds like your intuition's like, but I really am feeling an inner calling that this is not for me and to focus on my growth. So I'll give you the example also of this girl that I know. I guess I would consider her an acquaintance. I've been around her a few times. Her name's Angie Lee. She dropped out of college. She had like a semester left of college before she was going to graduate. But she could not focus because she was so passionate about what she was doing. Like she was doing like blogging and starting a podcast, and she just could not focus in school. She literally had a semester left and decided, you know what, this isn't for me. She dropped out with a semester left, with like $100,000 of debt from student loans. And now she's a multi-millionaire. I'm pretty sure she's actually an 8-figure earner. So a degree does not equal success. Actually, some of the most wealthy people do not have college degrees, and they're millionaires. I don't know many millionaires who do have college degrees, because honestly, a lot of those degrees, and I'm not saying that this is for everyone, but a lot of those degrees put you in these jobs that have a salary, and it's like you only can go so far. So a degree does not equal ultimate success. So do what's right for you. Trust your gut. That will always lead you where you're meant to go. Always do what's right for you. It doesn't even matter what I'm saying. You said what you wanted to do. I think you're just looking for the validation of, is what I'm feeling right? And if you're feeling it, then it's right for you. All right, and the last question on here is not about manifestation, but I think it's an important one to acknowledge. And it says, notice, this is very urgent, so very urgent. Let's say an innocent, and trigger warning, this involves the scenario of death. Let's say an innocent person is killed in a very disturbing way by an unknown armed man in his apartment. This man is just an ordinary, hardworking citizen. Did this person manifest his death, If yes, how? If no, why did he die? Well, what is the possible solution? So, like I said, this is a little bit of a heavier one, but I don't know who here, maybe leave a comment, who here is familiar with the idea of soul contracts? Leave a comment if you're familiar with that, or if you're not, let me know, because then I'll know how like in depth to go. I'm sure there's some people who don't know about it. Soul contracts. Okay, well, no one's commenting, but I guess I'll just go into it. So it is said that, okay, Mora, yes. Laura, Rashi says no. So some of you, yes, some of you, no. So we are souls having a human experience. This is a blip of time in all of existence. Literally, the amount of time that we're living on this planet in this life is like a blip, like billions of years. Okay, here's a quick under 100 years blip of us. And then billions of years, infinity, times infinity. So this is not the main show. As a soul, we don't just, like, our soul is always there. This life is a quick little piece of our experience, and we have these soul contracts that we help create before we come to Earth. So every big obstacle that has come our way, we agreed to those obstacles and we agreed to those lessons for our soul to learn and grow and evolve. So as triggering as this might sound for some people who are not familiar with this, but when we die, we agreed to that. Before we came to Earth, in our soul contract, we agreed to that. And another part of that is we are all going to die. Shocker, news. We are all going to die. One thing we all have in common is we are all going to die. And a lot of us who have picked more of these tragic deaths did it for a very empowering reason, to help their soul grow, to help others grow, to teach others a lesson. Like Chris, who passed away when I was 18, that was, part of my lesson to get through and grow through. So in that way, we are partially accountable, responsible for this happening. So you were saying, I was just talking and I know that this might feel, I'm trying to like just go over the basics, because I know some people, they might be like, what are you talking about? We choose to experience this life on Earth. Yes. Yes. So it's like all of the tragic deaths that have happened, and any death that's happened, it's like we chose that for a purpose, for a greater purpose. The people who lose their young children, that child decided that was part of its soul's evolution. And those parents, it was part of their journey and experience in this lifetime on Earth. So that is how we have a piece of that. But also it's just, again, so important to realize that this is a blip. I was just saying on Instagram the other day, this is not the main show of our existence. This life, this less than 100 years, some have 1 year, some have 105, whatever on that sliding scale. Like, this is a tiny piece of our existence. So I think that's a big part of what's helped me let go. The topic of like letting go from attachment is to realize like, my soul is still me. This physical experience isn't my entire existence. And we're all gonna die anyway. So make the most of it and have as beautiful of a life as you possibly can. And yeah, I could do a whole video on my spiritual understanding and beliefs if you would like, but I know that'll be triggering to some people, definitely triggering to my parents. But if you guys are interested in that, I'm also thinking of doing a series with my mentor, Riley, the one who I was talking about, the medium, the psychic medium, who I've been training with. We are going to do like a little series probably on intuition and opening up your abilities and just experiences that we've had together, readings she's given me, practice readings I've done with her. It's been super eye-opening. Yeah. Anyway, those were the questions that I had. If you have any others, let me know. I don't probably want to go and scroll through all of the questions just because I don't want to sit here for like 5 minutes awkwardly staring at the screen. So if you have any new questions, I'll take a few before I hop off. Do you have tips for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel? I'd love to share with the world, but I'm scared of judgment of people around me. I'll give you one tip. Because that's a whole like, there's so many steps to that. But my tip is just to start as you're filming, pretend like either you're just talking to someone that you know really well, or for me, when I started out, because I felt the exact same way, I pretended that no one I knew would ever see the videos I'm filming. And I still have that floating around, because like I've mentioned so many times, my parents are not into all of this. And I'm always like, it's a matter of time until they hear or fully watch one of these videos, but I still am like, well, whatever. I'm not talking to them as I speak in these videos. So it helps just to convince yourself, no one I know is ever going to see any of this, or maybe even convince yourself, no one's no one judgmental is going to see this, only supportive, positive people. But yeah, that's my tip. Pretend like no one you know is going to watch, because that is where we fear rejection from. It's really not the people, the people closest to us. So like I still will get triggered at people with their like really harsh religious comments, like saying that this is bad and evil and all of that stuff, not because I care what that person thinks. I care because the trigger is that it reminds me of how my mom would react. That's where it's at. So it's like, if I can just pretend no one I know is going to watch this, then I'm fine. How do you do shadow work? I mean, honestly, you can start out by journaling and noticing what things are you embarrassed about, what things are you hiding, what things are you ashamed about yourself, and start bringing light to those things, because shadow work is actually not about just like working through and getting rid of your shadows, but it's about like bringing them to light so they no longer weigh you down. Like I just told the group who joined me for the full moon ceremony, and I've told other people, I think, that my friend Alana and I, we were about to go on vacation to Tulum, and we were both having some like body image fears because, 2020, a lot of us put on some extra pounds. We're not feeling as fit and as healthy. So we were just talking about how we're feeling this discomfort because we're going to Mexico and we're going to be wearing swimsuits, and it's like, it's kind of scary because, yeah, you get it. So Alana and I decided together, we're just going to strip down to our underwear and stand in front of the mirror together and show each other the parts of us that we're feeling insecure about. And having that experience where we're like, okay, this is where I'm insecure, I'm feeling this way, and just like pointing it out rather than hiding it, because so much of the time we're like, okay, I'm just going to cover up. But just like calling it out and realizing, wow, we had a lot of things that we were feeling similar on about ourselves. And we'd look at each other and be like, wow, I wouldn't even see that or like think that about you at all, or think that you would be worried about that, because I don't see that so much. So it was just really healing to just go like, okay, put it all on the table. This is it. So it's really about, bringing those things to light. And you don't have to call yourself out in front of everybody, but start just acknowledging things for yourself. All right. What manifestations are you most proud of? Just curious. Definitely moving to this apartment, because this is the nicest place I've ever lived. Even like growing up, well, actually, my dad makes good money now, but growing up, he didn't necessarily make good money, and he was supporting a wife and 4 children. And my parents just aren't really into like fancy, updated things. So this is by far the nicest place I ever lived. Also, just getting to the point where I've had 2 6-figure years has been massive for me, because again, I was a C student in high school. I did a 1.5 years of community college and then stopped going. I never had like a serious employer. Like, I worked for my dad. I worked at a bar and was horrible at it. I babysat. I did a little bit of Postmate driving. And then I was able to get to this point where I'm fully, like, I have no boss. I'm not like working for some MLM, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Like I'm not working for anyone. All of it is either through my coaching, through YouTube, through, you know, the occasional brand deal. And I've been able to get to this point. Like, just a few years ago, I heard of people making 6 figures, and it blew my mind. Like, how do people do that? Like, I can't even comprehend that. So the fact that I've just gotten to this place where I can pretty confidently say that I am the most financially secure woman in my entire family line, it's a proud moment. So I'm really happy with that. Louise, let me grab Louise. I manifested Louise. I have a video on it. Like, before I had her, a year before I had her, I even made her an Instagram that was called OMG's Louise and did all these things. But Louise, come here. Say hi to the people. You're one of my favorite manifestations. Here's Louise. And people always ask about her because I had an Instagram for her, but then I accidentally got locked and let me log in anymore. So now she just occasionally pops onto my Instagram. She has a pretty good Instagram following and had like 1,000 likes on each photo, which was insane because she's just so popular. Everybody loves Lou. I love your way of seeing things. You are so awesome. Thank you for answering my question. Thank you. All right. All right. How is the manifestation of a new apartment going? You said you were ready for the next level. Yeah, so if you didn't watch, I toured a couple of apartments and they were perfect. I just didn't like the area. Like, it was by the beach and had a lot of restaurants and whatnot, but it just felt a little dirtier. Where I'm at is super like cookie cutter clean, like super cute and safe. And so just going around there and just feeling like it's a little more grungy. I'm like, I don't think I would like to walk around by myself around here. Not that I would necessarily be in danger, hopefully, but it just had like a denser feeling to the area. And also, like, the loft there was an amazing price, like only $300 more than my studio. But if, in case you didn't watch the video, but for some reason it was on ground floor, like on like street floor. And I'm like, I don't feel safe about that. So no. So I haven't really looked at any other places. I'm open though. And as I mentioned, Riley, psychic medium mentor, we had our last call yesterday and we were just talking about things that I wanted to attract into my life. And I did mention like, oh yeah, well, my lease is up at the end of the year, so I do plan to move then. And she's like, I don't think it's gonna take that long. I'm feeling like 2 to 3 months. Like I'm feeling that that's, if you're open to that, I see a good opportunity for a move in 2 to 3 months. So we'll see how that goes. I'm like, solid plans, but we'll see how it unfolds. Do you schedule time daily to manifest? I used to have a really solid morning routine, and it's not that I don't have a solid morning routine anymore, but I used to like visualize and script every single day. Not so much anymore. I've just been easing up. I'll still meditate. Sometimes I'll visualize, but I'll just like meditation in general. and read and move my body by going on a walk or going to the gym, maybe some scripting and journaling, but it's not like as intense as it used to be. But I actually want to start doing more scripting again, since of course I will be moving in potentially 2 to 3 months. So I would love to gain some clarity and script on that. What are your thoughts on manifesting multiple things at once? I'm all for it. Clearly I have my vision board. It has many different things, and that is a yes for me. Do you have any tips for dealing with grief? I feel so down and lost. I don't know if I have any tips at the moment. Well, I guess I do have tips, yeah. But it just kind of takes time. It's like, where are you at with it? When I've lost people, like, again, always going back to Chris, who I dated when I was 18, who passed away, because it was such a pivotal moment in my life. What really turned things around for me with that loss was going, he's gone now. He's no longer here. I need to honor him by making the most of my life. And also because I felt so much pain from that loss, that, I mean, not that I was like some horrible, mean person. I'm sure I had moments where I wasn't the best at times when I was younger, because I was a teenager, but it just also made me realize, like, I want to be to everyone all the time, because you never know what someone's going through. You never know how low someone feels. And I felt so low that I'm like, I would never want to accidentally like hurt someone who's in this state. So that really helped me just see the importance of how you treat other people and making the most of my life. And again, taking that loss as my permission to live life to the fullest, to honor his life, because also it's like, I don't know when my life's going to end. So I'm going to live it up fully. And that is exactly what I did. Also, it really helped me when I first met my friend Carissa. I've told this story before, but it changed my life. So I'm going to mention it again. So my Aunt Lisa passed away, has it been 2 years? 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago. She was my favorite aunt, my closest aunt. Even though the last year was pretty tough, like, she had a very traumatic childhood and it kind of really took a toll on her. But my aunt passed away 2 years ago. And last year I met my friend Carissa. It was during the pandemic and everything. And my friend Alyssa, Alana, and I got an Airbnb in San Diego, and Carissa just so happened to live down there. So Alyssa invited Carissa over. Carissa didn't know me. I didn't know her. And all of a sudden, she, like, as she was like trying to just talk about herself and talk about what was going on in her life, she just kept getting distracted and like trying to like shake it off. And then all of a sudden she was just like, wait, did one of your aunts die? And we were like, what? And I was like, yes. And she's like, I think your aunt's trying to come through like really hardcore. Like, I cannot focus on what I'm trying to say. Like, and I was like, what? Like, I had no idea that she had no idea about me. She, like, I had no idea that she had any mediumship ability. She was actually just starting to put them out there for people. Like, she'd been working with my mentor, Riley, really honing in on her abilities. And so I was one of her first in-depth readings that she did. I wasn't paying her for it. It just kind of happened. So she did a reading with me. My aunt came through. It was so accurate. She knew so many things. Like the fact that my aunt was like a chain smoker and the childhood trauma that she had, and the fact that we were, I was one of the ones in the family that looked like her because she was blonde and I was always blonde. And she knew that her daughter was engaged and getting married, or was married at that point. I think she was engaged at that point, and that they just moved into a house, and just so many very specific details. And to have that happen, and now know Carissa and know how amazing of a human she is and how authentic she is and how genuine of a person and ethical of a person she is, just like, wow, that was freaking, knowing that my loved one who had a traumatic life, did not live angelically at all. She had a traumatic life. She was angry at people. She like pushed the world out. She didn't want to talk to anyone in her family. She would lock herself, like she didn't want anything to do with anyone. And by the standards of the Bible, my mom probably thinks that she's in hell, but knowing that my aunt is fine, she's doing good, she's like way better than she's ever been, and she's still there with me all the time, has really helped, knowing that like they're not gone. And then I've had more experiences with mediumship myself, so I just know the reality is that they're not gone, and we're not gone when we're gone. So I don't fear death anymore, and that's helped a lot. That's helped with the control issues a lot. So I don't know how you feel about that whole subject, but one part of my advice is just to know that your loved one that you lost is much still with you and very much okay and there, and you can even talk to them, even if you can't hear them yourself, like you can talk to them and know that they're there. And if you want some like, oh, I just got a book from, I'll show you, where did it go? Where is it? Oh, it's over here. One second. I just got this book, Monica the Medium, Messages from Above. Really good and comforting on this subject. She also has a show on Freeform, which was previously ABC Family. But so if you have a smart TV or a Roku and you download the Freeform app, Monica the Medium, the show is on there for free to watch. And it's just so inspiring to see her do all of her readings and how it changes people's lives. So for me, that's also very helpful, just like to see readings done and how healing they are. Okay. Anyway, do you work with your chakras? Yes. Thank you for being real. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of questions now. Yes, got to get the book. But because we're almost to an hour, I always am like, I'm going to do this for 20 minutes, and that never happens. So if you want, I'll definitely do another Q&A soon. But I hope that this helped. It was definitely more than just a manifestation Q&A, spiritual talk, all the things. But I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you're watching the replay, let me know that you watched through to the end. Again, if you want to join the Master Manifestor membership, the link for that is down below. That is a membership with monthly group coaching, access to all the virtual events, so all the moon events, manifestation workshops, all of the things, live Q&As, and lessons in the private community. So many things. Jasmine's in. Jasmine is in the membership. I love everyone in there. And it's still pretty small, so it's a really tight-knit group right now. So I hope to see you in there. And if you want to just try it out for 30 days, 5 people who book 60-minute one-on-one calls have a 30-day free access to the membership, but only 5 spots available for that. And I know I see some more questions coming in, but any question that I that I answer, I know it's going to take a while, and I really want to keep this under an hour. But just know whatever you're trying to manifest, again, going back to respecting your body where it's at, wherever your energy is at, but also holding clear intentions and looking at the best case scenario and holding your intention for that without having the like, I need it, but just like, that's my intention. Release that. So, all right. Okay, thanks for hanging out, and I will talk to you soon. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me there too. Okay, OhhMyAnnie, 2 H's. All right, goodbye.